Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording Wednesday, November 19th. Celtics above 500 for the first time this season, and there's plenty of other stuff going around. How you doing, Sam?
Doing great. Great to be above 500. It's what we're used to. It's the norm here. We have a fun show for you guys, though. Celtics are above 500. Does not mean they're not looking to improve. They may be
I can't look at you the
canvassing.
same when you celebrate them being above 500, considering you are constantly on the edge of Team Tank. It
I'm
doesn't hit the
threatening
same.
it.
It doesn't
The Ce-
hit the same for me. You celebrating the wins doesn't hit the same this season while you're threatening that at the same time.
the Celtics look. The Celtics respond to my threats of me being like, look, you can. They are undefeated when I threaten to tank. So I'm doing my part for what it's worth. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about they may be sniffing around the trade market. No specific names, probably bad tease, including that tidbit. But whatever. Former Celtic honored at TD Garden yesterday. Very cool stuff. And we'll briefly go through what's gone right in the 3-game win streak and, talk about how they can continue that. No emails today, so we're skipping through that. We'll go through the NBA standings. We'll talk about some trends around the league, a lot of guys getting injured. Then we'll do the rat list and get out of here. It should be a fun show, so stick around through all of it. We're here every single day. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. We're live for pregame a half hour before every single show, too. It's going to be a lot of fun, so don't miss those. And, make sure you stick around for the whole pod. We're here. But, without further ado, Jack, Celtics maybe surveying the trade market.
Yeah, Matt Moore wrote an article for Fansided and went over some trade bits around the NBA, Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis, the Kings in general, some Mavs stuff. And then in the final section, other trade bits, quote unquote, he wrote, Boston is routinely mentioned as the team that continues to canvass for opportunities. It's tough because they aren't willing to take on money after their cost-cutting efforts this summer, but they remain one of the most opportunistic teams. So with that in mind, it does feel like the Celtics could be a team to keep an eye on in terms of making trades. And what those trades look like, who knows? It's pretty unclear. Again, like you said, there's nothing mentioned. However, if there's a trade to be made where you trade Anthony Simons in draft capital or whatever it is in draft capital, that's just the most likely if they want to continue cutting costs. Like, it doesn't make sense for them to trade a, $2 million salary because they'd likely have to take on money. And Matt wrote that they're not going to do that. So Anthony Simons to a Nets for a player that could help them, or to a Kings for a couple of players. Like, it does feel like a trade is imminent. The question is simply, are they going to trade picks to get off of Simon's contract, or are they going to trade picks to get a player while also using Simon's contract as trade bait? Like that's it, at least from my perspective, what I believe is going to happen, what I, had to predict. That is what I, am flipping between.
Yeah, and I think the Simons piece of this makes the trade talk more interesting than it's been like in a while. Because typically, like whenever you would have the Celtics get, slipped into trade rumors, we would go through and we'd look at the stuff and be like, yeah, but then you have to trade this guy, or oh, you have to trade Drew Holiday or Porzingis, or like they finally have a salary that like is big enough to get something legitimate back if they wanted it, which they might not. They definitely don't want to take back more money than they're sending out, but like, you can still get a solid player for if you matched the Simons contract. Or I know we've speculated that they would like take back 2 players, split the contract in half, and then kind of maneuver that way where they could trade one of them, keep the other, have cut costs even further that way. Whatever. The point is, you finally have somebody who doesn't really seem to fit into your team yet, could be a good trade piece. Somebody could want him. The right team could want him. Like, we've talked about Simons ad nauseum this year, and like, even though he's definitely struggled to fit into the Celtics offense, like there's no doubting he's still talented. Like, there's still good things he does, and he's probably the most comfortable having the ball in his hands, right? Like, more so than playing off the ball, which is what the Celtics are asking him to do, and why he probably does not quite fit. You talk somebody into it for sure. And if you really believe in whoever it is you're getting back, or whatever like the deal would be, you can attach draft picks, which me personally, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I don't know if I would love mortgaging some of the future, because I think the draft picks are going to be really important to like keeping the roster fresh and sustainable while you have Tatum and Brown on the big supermax contracts, Derek White making a good amount of money too. Like, you're going to need young players to come in and fill the minutes. But at the same time, experience does carry a lot of weight. And you can see how helpful it has been just in the past couple seasons having, Porzingis and Holiday, who made $30 million a piece, but like, they're ultimately experienced players. Like Drew Holiday played a role player type role. He's playing a much bigger role with the Blazers this year, but like him just being able to be on the Celtics and share experience and just contribute in an intelligent way was so big for that team. So we'll see what truly happens. But the trade market, it's buzzing right now.
It is in fact buzzing. I mean, I think it was Bill Simmons put a trade thing up on Twitter the other day, which was not a legal trade for what it's worth.
Sorry,
just
Bill.
has some important context. However, I don't think something along those lines would be impossible. And I do think there is something that, could be realistic there, right? So I went into the trade machine myself and took those two teams,
Wow.
the Kings and the Clippers. And Clippers do need scoring, so if they are still looking to push forward, Zach LaVine could make some sense for them. He's not on a long contract anymore. It's this year and next year, which it is what it is. The Kings are a disaster, objectively so. They're a mess. They are awful. So Zach LaVine to the Clippers, fine, whatever. Anthony Simons and John Collins to the Kings, 2 expiring contracts. They would get off the Zach LaVine money a year sooner. They'd get, some financial flexibility this year. You can throw a pick or whatever, wherever it needs to be. Celtics, Bogdanovich, Bradley Beal, Keon Ellis. Bogdanovich has a team option for next year. He makes $16 million, so they could just wipe their slate clean of all of that money. Bradley Beal obviously is not going to play this season. You need it for financials, but I mean, shit, if you're going to get Jason Tatum a rehab buddy, that's a pretty damn good rehab buddy, right? And then Keon Ellis is a really good player. And honestly, that's the only part of the deal that might not need to be included. Maybe the Kings are like, we don't want to give up Keon Ellis in this deal. That's where the picks would have to come from because he's a really good player. But even if you take that out, even if Keon Ellis wasn't included in the trade, Anthony Simons for Bogdanovich and LaVine would not only work, would not only give, help the Celtics shed money because this trade shaves $6.3 million. Oh, you do need Keon Ellis to work. You need the Kings to give up a minimum contract. So that could be Keon Ellis if the Celtics wanted to oh wait, no, you don't. I just took LaVine out of the trade instead of Keon Ellis, excuse me. Keon Ellis doesn't have to be in the trade for it to work. If he was in the trade, it would save the Celtics $6.3 million. Or the trade regardless saves the Celtics $6.3 million right now, which I think gets them under the first apron. Aren't they like $4 million above the first apron right now? Is that the correct number?
I think they might be close. I think it's either 12 million below the second or 12 million above the first. I don't know exactly which one it is. It's been a while since I looked. Now the roster's actually settled this season.
Celtics salary cap spot check. I'll look right now. I can tell you where they are.
Celtics have $4 million above the second apron.
Yeah.
For spot
So
track,
this trade would get them below the first apron. It would save them. It would reset the repeater tax for this season. Bogdanovich, Bradley Beal for Anthony Simons. The Clippers get Zach LaVine. The Kings get off the Zach LaVine money. Like this is a pretty realistic trade. Now, Celtics fans are going to sit back and say, "What the fuck? This isn't sexy at all. This is a whack trade." Bogdanovich is shooting 34% from the field. He's not been that good this year, but it saves you the money, right? It accomplishes that goal, and you probably wouldn't have to get off or trade a lot of picks in it. You could ask for somebody else back if you want to throw in like a couple seconds or first for Keon Ellis. I wouldn't hate that. I think Keon Ellis is a really, really good player, so that'd be fine. But I think something along those lines where you find a trade where, you're going to have to find teams who have financial first incentives, like the Kings getting off of the Zach LaVine money, and then a team that needs stuff like the Clippers wanting to push it and take a chance on LaVine for Bradley Beal, who was not playing, John Collins and Bogdanovich. Now the John Collins piece is maybe they don't want to give up John Collins. Maybe they're like, no, we got him for a reason. And for what it's worth, they did trade Norm Powell because they didn't want to extend him, but John Collins is now playing 25 minutes a night, shooting 33% of the field. And I mean, it's been kind of a mess, right? Like, I don't, if memory serves, I don't think he was on the court consistently down the stretch of the Celtics game. So, and also this trade saves the Clippers $500K. So it's not like they're adding any additional salary. They'd be dumping a bunch of money to get Zach LaVine scoring, and I think that would help them. So this type of trade feels like what the Celtics would do at the deadline. So keep an eye on something like that.
How fun. It is funny though, like the Clippers are so far in the fucking hole that they just kind of have to keep digging themselves deeper. Like OKC has their first round pick this year, if I'm not mistaken. So that's just another, like they have no reason to want to lose games. The Clippers should be trying to win games. They should be making win now type trades, or at least like compete now, like out of spite and for the betterment of the league. Like if I was the Clippers, I actually would like sell that in trades, be like, look, like it's 29 against 1 here. Like we all need to kind of come together, help us out a little bit, make sure OKC doesn't get another lottery pick, and we'll go from there. But we need scoring right now. And, maybe Simons could fit in there a little bit better. Like, I think if he's with the Clippers, it's still kind of weird because he's playing with Harden and presumably Kawhi when he's healthy, which is like a big, like, coin flip type thing. But, like, he's not, like, running the show like he would be in Portland, so I'm not sure it would still be, like, a good fit. But with that being said, if you're the Clippers, you just kind of have to try. Maybe if he was going to the Kings, it'd be better. Like, that is what you pitched, was the Kings. I'm sorry, not the Clippers. That is exactly what you said, was the Clippers would take him. The Clippers would take Zach LaVine.
Correct.
Simons would go to the Kings. Okay, the Kings would be a better spot for Anthony, even though it would be him,
Yes,
Dennis Schroeder, and Russell Westbrook. So Simons and Schroeder could just talk about how they just didn't work with the Celtics.
correct. Yes, that would be roughly the trade. I mean, and then there's others, right? Like most of the others are really ugly and not fun at all. But like maybe it's the Lakers getting Nick Claxton, and the Celtics get to shed money that way. But there's options. It's the type of trade where one team is looking for financial incentives, the other is looking to improve, and the Celtics get to save some money and maybe get a swing player like a Keon Ellis in the process. But those are the stuff to keep an eye on. I assume those are the types of trades Matt Moore is mentioning. Like they're looking for opportunities to accomplish their money saving goals, maybe help facilitate something and get off the Anthony Simons contract. Like that feels like what this little blurb from Matt Moore means. So keep an eye on it as trade season kicks off, which December 15th, the unofficial start to trade season, when half the league becomes trade eligible. So before we do continue, I want to tell you guys about PrizePicks. PrizePicks, the best place to get real money sports action this basketball season and football season, which is here right now. Make sure to head on over to PrizePicks to check it out. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. It's the holiday season, the best time of the year for sports, bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, what to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right, which is PrizePicks. I need to start holiday shopping very, very soon. Regardless, make sure to jump on over and check it out. Some of my favorite things on the PrizePicks lately have been obviously Drake May, which the entire area of New England has been obsessed with Drake May for. I mean, he's the Pats are 9-2, so it's a pretty fun place to be obsessed with. But PrizePicks available in over 30 states, including right here in Massachusetts, so you can check it out for the Pats or the Celtics, who are above 500, like I mentioned at the start of the episode. There's also a new feature over on PrizePicks for you to check out. Early payouts. If your lineups gets off to a hot start, you may now leave the option, or you have the option, I should say, to cash out of those winnings before the game even finishes. So if you're looking to capitalize on some early success and you're nervous the rest of this, your lineup won't hit, you can check it out right there. PrizePicks, also how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose FlexPay, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, Power Play is the move. No matter the play, PrizePicks is a great way to put your takes to the test. So make sure to jump on over and check it out. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Next thing, Isaiah Thomas. What?
How are you going to afford Christmas shopping without PrizePicks?
Sure. The Celtics honored Isaiah Thomas with a induction, or he got the Legacy Award at the Sports Museum. Lifetime Achievement, excuse me. I couldn't remember the name and my tab wasn't loading. Basketball Lifetime Achievement Award from the Sports Museum, which is TD Garden's Boston Sports Museum. He was in Boston posting about it on X. Said, "Thanks you, Boston. I'll always remember tonight. Boston, appreciate all the love and support." Was on a podcast recently as well. Said it was obviously a tough situation talking about the trade. Felt like I gave my heart to the city, to this organization, to be a franchise player, and then get traded out of nowhere, especially while I was hurt. That hit hard. But all the people, but out of all people, I understood the business. People would always say, you keep bringing it up. But it was the media bringing it up. I wasn't talking about it. I just had to answer questions. At the end of the day, I'm human. I had real feelings. I had a real love for the city and the organization. So I wanted to keep going. But like I said, I understand the business 100%. Sometimes things happen neither side really wants. But for business reasons, it makes sense. So you find ways to grow, to move on, and keep competing with a smile on your face. I watched Isaiah Thomas for years. Those are the, early on into the years, I started really following the Celtics. And so getting to watch him hoop in Boston was quite the experience.
Yeah, Isaiah's the best. Really cool to get to see him back around. He has been nothing but vociferous about just how much being a Celtic meant to him. He was only here for 2.5 years, yet he is like one of the most meaningful figures in recent Celtics history. Like, yeah, it was like 2.5 years and like they traded him and then they started really like hitting their stride. But like when you think about it, Isaiah Thomas was a huge reason why the Celtics kind of shot past the rebuilding years. And it was just like they were immediately in the playoffs again. They missed the playoffs one season, trade from at the 15 deadline. Then all of a sudden they start winning games and sneak in. The next year they make it as the 5th seed. Then they make the conference finals in 2017. And in the process, Isaiah was a big reason of why Al Horford came here. And Al Horford was just a big reason why the Celtics became kind of cool again, like around the league. It's pretty rare for free agents to sign here up until that point. Horford makes it kind of like a destination where people want to be, and the culture here kind of changes. Isaiah was a huge part in all this. He's somebody who's just really meaningful to a lot of Celtics fans, including the two of us. Jack said it. It was really cool. I know you went to the game yesterday. Isaiah was kind of like not honored on the broadcast, but they did like a little like throwback package of like all his cool stuff because they talked about the ceremony and how he was being honored at TD Garden and stuff. And my girlfriend was watching with me, and I got to explain to her. I was like, no, like this guy was awesome. Like he's 5'9". He was an MVP candidate. He was like the driving force behind them being the best team in the conference. Like he was unbelievable. Went out there with a like busted hip, gave the Wizards 53 in a playoff game on his late sister's birthday, like after he had lost her weeks earlier in a car crash. Like it is stuff out of fantasy that Isaiah Thomas did as a Celtic. And the way that his career here ended was terrible. He says it's like the business thing, and it's true. Like it's the kind of trade that you do 10 times out of 10. At the time, Kyrie's a superstar. You kind of have like whispers of the crazy stuff, but like you just assume it's part of like wanting his own team, and it goes well here for a season. Then the end of that is ugly, and so on. And then you have Scal running around recently, which we talked about, was like, yeah, if that trade never happens, they pick SGA, and it's all flowers and rainbows again. So I don't know. It's definitely dirty. I wish he would be around the team more often. Like I wish he was like almost like a community ambassador or something. But like I'm pretty sure he's still trying to play pro, even if it's overseas. He's still like not done playing. He has such a significant love for the game of basketball. So just always nice to see him recognized. And also like he is just so open with how much he loves Bossy. He's like, yeah, I'm out on the streets. Like, you see me, come say hi. Like nobody's doing that. Like it's just like a unique thing that he has here.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Isaiah Thomas, man. I said it. Like I love IT. He was probably the most fun era of Celtics basketball when I first started watching, and at least in recent memory, it was up there. So good for him. Shout out. Speaking of the Celtics, though, current Celtics on a win streak, won 3 in a row here against the Grizzlies, Clippers, and Nets. Obviously, 3 teams who are not towards the top of their conferences, but that's the whole point. You got to beat the bad teams if you want to have a good record. Teams who don't beat the bad teams aren't usually good teams themselves. So Celtics 8-7, they're 8-4 since their 0-3 start to the year, where they were figuring things out. Top 10 offensive rating, top 10 defensive rating. We talked about it a little last time, so we don't have to go too in detail here, but it feels like they're rounding into form.
It does. Like what you're seeing from the Celtics, it just feels more like what you expected these first several games to look like in terms of results. Like Derek White and Peyton Pritchard are actually making shots now. I think Pritchard's shooting 51-51 splits. White is 44-41 over this win streak. Like they just are making the type of shots that all summer we were like, yeah, like there's a reason why we think these guys have all-star potential. It's because they've scored and they're just getting put in position to do the same thing. And to this point, it wasn't working. But they've done all of the dirty work to get here, to be 8-7 and have like high net ratings and offensive rating, defensive rating along the way, even when the shooting and rebounding wasn't going well. Now that those things are improving, you're seeing it kind of reflected. And, the teams they've beaten in this 3-game stretch are ass. They are combined 5-25 over their respective last 10 games. Like it's not been pretty for Brooklyn, Memphis, and the Clippers. Like it's just been gross. And the Celtics should have beaten all these teams. But to be a decent team in this league, you have to take care of business when the bad teams are put in front of you. In this season so far, that hasn't exactly been tradition. Like they lost to the Jazz. That was a brutal loss at home. We all expected it to go differently. They almost lost. They hung and fought with the Pelicans for 3 quarters. Like there have been times where they haven't looked great. They just look more like a competitive team. They're figuring it out. The offense really looks connected. They're doing a great job of moving the ball. Jalen looks great. He's efficient. He's cooled off lately, but he's still like being impactful, which I think speaks volumes to his leadership, his fit, his ability to be the number 1 guy on this team this year. Like, I just think we're learning a lot, and it's hard to completely put a lot of weight into it because of the teams they played. But ultimately, there's so much to be excited about coming out of this. So good signs of things to come.
Yeah, I think they're going to win 45 games. I've said it a million times. You guys are probably sick of hearing me say it. I stand by it. I think it's going to happen again. But
saying by is cool. You have to. You can't flip flop. Who would ever flip flop?
I'm sticking with it. All right, NBA standings. Let's go check out what's going on around the league. Like Sam mentioned at the start of the show, no emails today, but that's all right. Pistons still atop the Eastern Conference. They've had an impressive record, 13-2 at this point now, won 11 in a row. Cavs at 10-5, Raptors at 9-5. They've won 8 of their last 10 games, including 4 in a row. The Knicks are 8-5. They still haven't won a road game. They're 0-4 on the road. Sixers 8-5, Hawks 9-6. And you got the Heat, Bulls, Celtics, Magic, all above 500 in the 7-10. Bucks at 11, also 8-7, above 500. And then the Hornets, Nets, Wizards, and Pacers are just a mess at the bottom.
Pistons, be careful who you call ugly middle school. Just 2 years ago, they were en route to their 28-game losing streak. Now they've won 11 in a row. They're putting together impressive wins even without like key players in the lineup. Guys are getting healthier for them as the games go on, but like Dennis Jenkins has just been lighting teams up. Like he is like a 3D printed Miami Heat guy. Like this is the kind of guy that's supposed to play for Eric Spoelstra. He's not supposed to be playing at Little Caesars Arena. They're just getting good production from everybody. They're a really fun team to root for, team to watch. You were right about Toronto. That is your Pistons. You're just a little early on them last year, as you said last time we did the show. But they
were hurt last year. That doesn't count.
Well, yeah, like even then you can like even hammer that. Just be like, I was right. They just couldn't stay healthy.
Exactly, yeah.
Aside from that, like it is just funny. Like the Celtics now have the 3rd best point differential in the Eastern Conference. Like they continue to be one of the better teams. They're showing you who they are, kind of, but they can't always get across the finish line. It is kind of hilarious that just the bad teams are bad and the rest of them are mid. Like this is the mid-off. This is one of the reasons why I think people believe the Eastern Conference was a tough place for the Celtics to tank. Like you have all these teams that are all about the same abilities, same roster. They're about the same record. Milwaukee 8-7 out of the play-in because everyone is just mid. Milwaukee will probably start losing some games here, though. Because
Celtics are 2 games out of the 2 seed. They're 2 games back of the 2 seed. Like anything is possible in the Eastern Conference. They are right there. Milwaukee's cooked. I looked at it with Terp the other day too. Giannis is gonna miss like what 1 to 2 weeks. It was their next 5 games. They have the Sixers, Pistons, Blazers, Heat, Knicks. So
0-5.
good luck. Good luck to the Bucks. That looks a lot like 8-12 to me. Western Conference, OKC is 14-1, and Jalen Williams hasn't played a game yet. Nuggets 10-3, Rockets 10-3, Lakers, Spurs 11-4, 10-4. Spurs have won 2 in a row. They're dealing with some injuries though. They've got Castle and Wemby and Dylan Harper all out, so they're gonna have to piece things together. Timberwolves, Suns, Warriors all above 500 there, 9-5, 9-6, 9-7. Blazers falling off a little bit. They've lost 3 in a row. Jazz are still hovering around in the 10 seed merely because the Clippers, Grizzlies, Mavs, Kings, and Pelicans suck that bad. So the Jazz might have missed out on their tanking window because they won 5 games to start the year.
They should never beat the Celtics. Shame on them. Always was a stupid play. Can't believe they would do it. I'm sure
They would still be the
got
10
reamed.
seed. Or no, they would be tied for the. They might still be the 10 seed. I don't know the tiebreaker between the Jazz and the Clippers. That's just how bad the bottom of the West has been.
Phoenix, what is going on over there? They've
The
got the
basketball
same
team.
record. Same record as they had through 15 last year, I saw. Except someone pointed out, I think it was Bruce actually. Bruce Villies, he joined the pregame show with us earlier in the season. Phoenix was 8-1 to start the season last year, and then they ended up 9-6 through 15. This year they started off really slow. They've trended upwards. They're 8-2 in their last 10, as you can see on the screen. They might be way better than we all thought. We might have missed the boat on that Phoenix team. Kind of happy for the fan base. Not an annoying fan base. Not fans I necessarily want to see suffer. They kind of got robbed of what could have been a really fun team for the last couple seasons. So getting a surprise fun season should make up for that.
Yeah, no. I mean, I kind of hope that we get some fun teams out west. I mean, the Suns are fun, the Blazers are fun. I think you're going to see one unorthodox team make the playoffs simply because the Clippers have tanked themselves out of that race. I want to go back and see our standings predictions because I feel like I might have had the Suns higher than people, and I wanted to brag about
Pull
it.
it up.
I can't
Let's
find
see.
it. I can't find it. I don't know. That's my point. I don't know where we put our
We're
standings
terrible at
predictions.
this.
I know we always put them in a place where it is impossible to find. Was it like
We
do we
hide
make a
them,
spreadsheet?
like, you have to Indiana Jones, like, get to the relic, put the sandbag on the file with the sheet of the standings predictions, and then escape. Like, that's how you check them.
Yeah, just okay. Wait, nope. This is the wrong year. Okay, no, did we put him in the same spreadsheet? RJ put his in a spreadsheet, but I don't think we also put ours in a spreadsheet. Unfortunately, I think we put ours in a different place, which I don't know where it is. I don't know. I think I like the Suns a little bit, but I don't know where I would have put them. I would have to find our standings predictions. I have the sheet. We did it on September 22nd. We did standings predictions. I didn't fucking write it down in the sheet. I didn't write it here, so I don't know where it is. Like it's just I know the date. It's just here. I've got nothing else. But yeah. Shout out the Suns. Shout out Devin Booker. Dylan Brooks is averaging 21. Who would have thought? Who would have fucking thought?
He was just early. He was just early last year when he made 10 threes against the Celtics. You know, that was, we can all take credit for that. Like, without that game, Dylan Brooks does not have this little breakout season he's having for Phoenix. So you're welcome, Devin Booker. You're welcome, Phoenix Suns. Yeah, like, you're welcome, Matt Ishbia, with your hot dog discount. Like, congrats.
Hot dog discount's sick. Or not even the hot dog discount, the discount in general of concessions. I couldn't think of the word.
They're kind of doing cool stuff out in Phoenix. Like, I'm pretty sure they gave the media rights just to, like, network television, like, to, like, if you have a satellite thing, like antennas, you can just get the Suns games, which is not common nowadays. he's trying to do good things, but he just fucked up the team so bad for the first couple years because he wanted to win right away that like that good stuff has been eclipsed by let's trade for Bradley Beal. It's kind of working out for him now. Did he stumble into a lot? I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for him.
I hope it works. I have a bad feeling. I went on Eamon Castles, who runs the Timberwolves site at Fanside. He's from New England, and I went on his podcast, and he told me to bring like a couple takes or predictions that we could disagree with. And I said one of them, Matt Ishbia is going to see the Suns having success this year and make a stupid fucking trade to try to capitalize on it, and he's going to ruin the franchise again. That was one of my predictions, unfortunately, and I hope it doesn't happen. I hope he doesn't do that, but I have a bad feeling that it could happen. So, what are you gonna do?
What if he's like Anthony Simons? What can you do for me?
I don't think that's exactly what I had in mind. I think it would be more along the lines of Domantas Sabonis. What do you do for me?
Or Anthony Davis?
Yeah, Anthony Davis, who, by the way, we can just do that first since you brought it up. Mavericks are shopping Anthony Davis per Tim McMahon of ESPN. They have decided we are going to build around Cooper Flag because we're the luckiest franchise on the planet and the stupidest at the same time. And now they're going to shop Anthony Davis, and I don't know who will want him. Somebody's going to want him. I mean, when he's healthy, he's a top 10 player in the NBA. But what a ridiculous past 8 months for the Mavericks organization.
I'm just like trying to think of teams like immediately that jump out for this. I don't know. Like, I really think the AD contract is a terrible one. And maybe it's recency bias with the Luka trade and him getting downplayed as a player because of that trade, and then immediately getting hurt in Dallas and then getting another injury and then another injury. But like, I don't want to pay him $50 million a season for the next 3 or 4 years. I just don't. That makes it really hard to put a good roster together. Maybe if I am super desperate, like, would you do it if you're like Brooklyn or Charlotte? I don't know if you even have the money to match. Like, I can't really talk myself into this if I'm any team. Like, we did the segment when the Celtics report came out. I wouldn't want him here. That would make it incredibly like strapped
Who,
to try and
AD?
make any move. Yeah, I wouldn't want him not on that contract, not with the Celtics.
Huh. I found the NBA standings, by the way. I had the Suns 12th. That was wrong. I don't know what team would want. I mean, like I said, there's going to inevitably be a team that takes a swing on Anthony Davis.
Does Atlanta want
No,
him? Like, could they
I don't know.
get something with Porzingis there?
It just depends on how healthy he is when he comes back from this injury. Like if he starts playing and he plays like you see a sample size, we're like, okay, he's playing again. Like it just depends on the team and position. Like I've seen people say the Pistons. I don't know if they'd want to risk it. Like they have the money, right? Because Tobias Harris, Karis LeVert, like they have money in places where it doesn't necessarily matter too much. So like maybe it's that, maybe it's the Pacers, and they try to get ahead of Tyrese Halliburton coming back, and they try to find him, and you run that, and that could be an option. Maybe the Raptors are like, oh, let's go all in, which would be a very Raptors thing to do, I suppose. And I think it would be kind of silly. Maybe the Heat do it if they want to push. Maybe the Warriors do it if they want to push, although I don't think that makes too much sense with the contracts they have.
The Warriors just going all in on old dudes.
I mean, the Clippers.
Give us another one.
The Clippers have already gone in on old dudes, so why not just keep going?
I can see the Clippers being desperate enough, actually. Like, given like the draft pick situation and everything, like they're already just so like cooked. It's like, well, gotta try something else. Let's get another guy that just isn't gonna play games because he's hurt.
What about
of the teams you mentioned,
send him home.
Chicago could be another one because they are better than people thought, even though they're 4-6 in their last 10. So let's see how real they actually are. Toronto was probably my favorite of all the ones that you said because they have like enough mid players making decent money. I think the Pistons are too good to want to shake things up, if that makes sense. Like I saw people on actually in the First to Floor Discord like sending Lauri Markkanen mock trades about the Pistons, and I was just like, if I'm the Pistons, I'm just not fucking around. I'm like, we're good. Cade is good. Jalen Duren's good. The rest of the rotation guys are good. No need to shake everything up. Like this team works as is. Now, like, do you feel great about playing against top West teams? Probably not. But I think in the Eastern Conference right now, I wouldn't
At that
count
point, you
the Pistons
get
out against any of these teams.
at that point you get to the finals and you figure it out from there. I feel like that's what you do if you're the Pistons.
It's
You
too
don't
early
worry
to
about
get
it.
desperate
Yeah.
if you're the Pistons. Like, this is the first year you're actually good. Like, last year it was like
Mhm.
getting there, but this is like, whoa, 11 games in a row. What's going on up there?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think the Bulls could make some sense. They'd have to mortgage a little bit. Like, I don't know what Dallas would want. Like, would you trade Kobe White and 2 players and picks for Anthony Davis? I don't know if you'd want to trade Kobe White, but shit, if you're getting Anthony Davis, you might have a chance to be an actual competitive playoff team with him, Giddy, Vucevic, Tasun Moon, everything you've got going on there. Like, so if you could get Anthony Davis with like a couple firsts, Kobe White, and then Herter and Patrick Williams to match a salary, do you do it? Are you doing that? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't know. I
We were
just don't know
talking
who
about
wants Anthony Davis.
some of this type of stuff in the press room. I'm trying to think of like what spurned this, but it was like Corrales was chatting with some of us about like what is the trade market even going to look like now because so many teams are afraid of the aprons with these big contracts. Like it might have actually been Anthony Davis talk that made this ball start get rolling when we were talking about it, but like I really don't know. Like Philly, like this is just gonna be like the video of all the kids at the lunch table swat like throwing the snacks across the table, and it's like so satisfying to watch because they're all kind of crossing paths at the same time, and it looks. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
No, but like I don't know, they're like throwing like juice boxes or something like across, and it's just like very chaotic, but like essentially everything is trading places. Like it's just a whole big mess. I feel like that's what the NBA is going to become, where everybody's just taking everybody else's bad contracts and trying to make it work for them because there's no real way to get out of this. You're stuck to these deals. And fortunately, like if you're the Celtics, you're in on like a lot of good ones. Tatum is a good one. Jaylen Brown is proving to be a good one this season. Like he's taken on the workload of being like out there without Jason Tatum playing pretty well. Derek White's contract is small enough so you like even when he's cold like he is to start this season, you don't feel like he's quite overpaid, and he gives you enough defensively to make up for the offensive shortcomings right now. Pritchard's on a great deal, and the list goes on. A lot of teams don't have that luxury. A lot of teams are looking at Anthony Davis. They're looking at Kawhi and James Harden, and let's just look at the list here. Like who else is on a just albatross contract? I mean, you could make the argument for a lot of teams, I guess. Like the Jimmy contract isn't good anymore. Rudy Gobert is not a good contract anymore, unless they restructured it. But the NBA is smoked. Like the Kings just have all bad contracts. Speaking of, like Sabonis is always in these trade rumors. Like, would you really want him? Like, no, not for that money. I wouldn't.
I think it just depends. I think the right players can work with the right teams if the situation presents itself. Like I think Sabonis could help teams win. Like I think if you send Sabonis back to the Pacers, you run him, Siakam, and Halliburton. Like I wouldn't hate it. Like I think if you put Sabonis, I mean I mock the Suns for taking a chance on Sabonis. I don't think he'd be terrible there. I think him and Booker would be pretty good. Like I think there are options for everybody, and I don't hate the Bulls for Anthony Davis. Send him home. He could help them win basketball games. And I mean the trade I outlined, they wouldn't have to give up a crazy amount. The Raptors, if they want to take a swing on the score, like maybe you do it. But the only unfortunate part with the Raptors is I know you said you have a bunch of like middling players, but like all of those players play big minutes. Like those are the reasons they're winning the games. And so if you trade for Anthony Davis for the Raptors, you have to give up a piece that has been contributing heavy minutes for you, which is the problem. So I don't know what that would be like. Quickly Pirtle and picks for Anthony Davis. I don't even know if that works financially. I'm just guessing it does. So like maybe that's the trade. But then if you're, I mean, no matter what it is at this point, if you're the Mavericks, you're trading Luka Doncic for Quickly and Pirtle. You're an embarrassment, and like it's just bad.
Bad.
But,
So bad.
It's already cooked. Like it's just what's the word? Sunk cost theory. Just you can't think of it that way. You just have to move forward. But speaking of moving forward, and I mean, I suppose Anthony Davis injury bug is part of this. The league is just super injured right now. Underdog NBA tweeted out some of the injuries around the league, and I'm not going to read the list. I'll put it on the screen if you'd like to read it because it's long and I don't want to.
Yeah.
Giannis, Wemby,
If the
AD,
list
Embiid, like it's brutal.
If this list was a scroll, like a paper, like on paper, it would be a scroll. Like you would have somebody walk up to you and like take it out of their pocket and it would unravel. And like that's how long this list would be. And I'm sure every season, like across a lot of sports, you could just do this and like pick out names, guys that are hurt. But in the NBA, this season in particular, seeing a lot of muscle injuries, like Giannis groin strain, Wemby calf strain, just off the top of my head. It makes you really thankful right now for the injury luck the Celtics have had. The Celtics have not had to have Jalen, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, or Nemi miss any games this year. If the Celtics have Jalen, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, or Nemi miss any games this year, they might be fucked. Certain guys, they'll be more fucked than others, but they will be fucked nonetheless because literally all of these guys are playing essential roles to what's happening in Boston. Jalen, if you played without Jalen, I don't know if you're winning. Without Nemi, you're relying too much on your bench bigs, and I think that really hurts you too. So, Celtics fans, thank your lucky stars. Continue doing whatever you're doing to keep your good karma going forward because the Celtics cannot afford injuries. And, you know, if you're a tank guy, we don't root for injuries, but maybe get your voodoo dolls, whatever you believe in.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely a small margin for error if you're the Celtics. I think anything's possible on any given night, but it would definitely be tough to win without all of them. Peyton Pritchard slowly getting his averages up, though. Watch out. 16.7, 4.3, 5.0. Derek White's up to 16. Efficiency slowly starting to tick up for Pritchard in particular. Derek still not shooting very well, but they look good, man. They're bringing it around. I'm what's the word? Optimistic about where they've been. All right, Rat List, Sam. What do you got?
Rat List. One of my good friends, my friend Ray, he texted me yesterday, and he never texts me. We always use Facebook Messenger. I feel like the two of us have had this discussion before. Like my friends use Facebook Messenger for like everything. My main group chat is Facebook Messenger. A lot of my good friends use it. He's like, "Hey, I'm in Facebook jail, so I can't use Facebook Messenger." And then I said, "How did that happen?" And then he said, "I was trying to sell a Pokemon card. Someone lowballed me, so I called them an idiot." And I was like, "Oh, that's terrible. Stupid ban. How long you banned for?" He says, 180 days. He would have got banned for a half a year for this had he not appealed it, gotten it fixed. He's back. He's back on Messenger. He's out of Facebook jail.
All he did was call someone an idiot?
Yes, that's what he said. Maybe he's lying to me. Yeah. He's super big into that. Like I went with him over the summer. I don't know if I talked about this on the show. He had like a couple Pokemon cards he wanted to get graded, like sent away. I guess they like will say like what condition they're in, and then you can resell them. He had like 4 or 5. We went to this store that is like one that you can go to for that. He was so nervous. One of them came back a 10. He made like 10 times the money he bought the thing for. It was crazy. So I can kind of understand.
It's huge. Cards are huge.
Facebook jail was brutal. Unfair punishment. Glad he got it appealed. We would have had to do a free Ray hashtag in the comments.
Ratless the bus home last night. I took the bus from New York, and I found a row where it was just gonna be me. I switched my seat. It was what it was, and then I get there and like the whole bus was full, so I ended up having to sit next to somebody anyways. Whatever. It is what it is. I knew it was unlikely that I would get my own row, but I was hoping. But I get there, whatever. The person seemed nice enough when they sat down. I was like, whatever, this is fine. I get there immediately. The person in front of her, the girl sitting next to me, was like, "Hey, do you mind if I put my seat back?" And she was like,
"Oh no,
sure." But like, first of all, it's almost worse to ask because you're just like, what the fuck are they supposed to like? Some people are gonna say no, but I guarantee you, 80% of people are just gonna be like, "Oh yeah, it's fine." You know, I'm like, fuck you for asking. And she was already like sitting up with her like knees up on the seat in front of her. He leans it back, no space. It's over. She's cooked, and I feel bad. I'm like, damn, that's fucking brutal. And I go to look at her like I'm sorry, that sucks. And the guy in front of me, I can just see through the cracks. I'm like, oh Jesus, fuck, this guy's like staring at me. But the worst part about the guy in front leading his seat back, he had the row to himself. So he leaned his seat back and then laid across the row. So like, fuck you. Like that, ridiculous.
That's outrageous.
Right?
How could you do that?
You're telling me, man. But then the girl next to me decides, since I don't have this space, I'm gonna like try to lie down a little bit. Just lying halfway into my seat. I'm like, dude, what am I supposed to do here? I'm not gonna take your personal space. I don't want to be weird. But she's just like lying like half in my seat, and I barely have any room. Luckily, the bus stopped in Hartford. People got off, and I had my own row for the last couple hours. But it was just like it was brutal.
I have to know, what is the crowd back like? Like what is the personnel that is on the
It's pretty
1 a.m.?
normal.
Is it?
It's pretty normal.
I figure like people take it for all different kinds of reasons. I was just curious, like, because for the bus to be full at 1 a.m., that has to be like a sneaky good business. Like an option that I would have never even really thought much about if you hadn't talked about it. Granted, like I'm a little spoiled because my mom works for the airlines. So like I usually do not have that problem. I'm very privileged to have the standby option anytime I would like to go somewhere. But yeah, Rat List is, I guess, timing is visual illusions. This is not going to look good on the share screen because it looks blurry on my monitor. But loyal listener Jared DM'd me this morning. I don't know if he sent it to you either. He sent me this clip from the last episode we did, the recap from the Nets game. And this is what it looked like. So Jack and I are here in 8-bit pixel, and we're talking. And I go to adjust my screen or like move something on my screen, and Jack wipes his screen at the same time. And I'll replay it. It looks like I literally reached through and touched Jack in the frame. And he messaged me this, and I was like, "What do you like?" This I didn't say anything crazy. I was afraid at first. I was like, "What did I say?" He was like,
Yeah.
He was like, "I'm more concerned about you reaching through a wormhole to adjust Jack's laptop."
That's funny. Man. I don't have much else. I'm pretty tired. I'm pretty out of it today. Yeah, I don't really have much to do.
Final Rat List. Friend of mine messages the group chat today. Told my dental hygienist I quit nicotine pouches. In parentheses, I haven't, actually up 1.5 tins a day. And she goes, "Wow, your gums look so much better." He goes, "Girl's probably been bullshitting me this whole time saying I have gum disease." The dentist is the biggest sham. Like, it is the only place on earth that I've done this joke before, but it's the only place that you can go where they stab you, you bleed, and they tell you it's your fault. And the fact that he was just gaslit about his gums, not to say he should be doing the nicotine pouches, because it's definitely not good for his gums, but he was able to lie and get away with it, just tells you how much of a sham it is.
Yeah, I mean, I know you need the dentist, but I haven't gone in a while. I need to get back.
I have a friend, I'm not going to name drop him, who I went out with him, his fiance, me and my girlfriend recently. And we were talking about the dentist, talking about insurance, so on. He's like, "Yeah, I just had to get a root canal done. I hadn't been to the dentist in 10 years. Crazy not to go for 10 years. How do you do that? How does that happen?" I think it was just like COVID happened and people stopped doing their regular scheduled checkup stuff.
It's tough. I mean, for me, I haven't been a little longer than I need to because I moved and I need to find the new dentist. So that's my current issue.
That too.
But yeah. That's all I got. You got anything else?
No, we do have new festive borders though for Thanksgiving. Keep your eyes out on the pregame.
You downloaded the Halloween's ones, and I had to delete a bunch of them because I couldn't add any graphics. So now I'm gonna have to go through and delete all of these because I'm not gonna be able to add any graphics. So
I'm sorry.
That's why I specifically didn't download the Halloween ones, because it takes up all of our storage. Like I was trying to add one or like add an overlay to do something, like show something on the screen. I had to delete like 10 different backgrounds.
What the fuck are all these pumpkins here for?
Anyways, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Leave a like, subscribe. Oh, let's say I'm taking it.
Hey, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. Jack and I are here every single day with new content. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps morning after each game. Other videos are here in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. Pre-game live is always up, half hour before tip-off. It's me, Jack, special guest. Every single time. It's been a ton of fun this year having special guests on for the pre-game shows. So come hang out, participate in the chat. We love to have you guys. And yeah, we're on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and recaps are there. So if you just want those, follow, they go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very, very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Again, that's hbtcpod@gmail.com. We're reading them every single time we do the show. Our socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook's the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. They also could be on Instagram, I guess. StreamYard has a thing where I can add Instagram to the pregame streams. So maybe I'll look into that. Maybe it'll be there if you really care for that as a viewer. But you can follow at How About Them C's, Jack's Twitters at Jack's Money NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. It's up for us.